Welcome to Borneo Forum number 8. And I'm Ken Dunstan Gundaya, originally from, and I am from Papar, Kampung Limbahau. Now the Papar Limbahau is famous because it's now a new constituency, and 27. I'm at the moment in London, UK. And during the height of the pandemic, a group of us, in fact, 4 of us, myself, Eve, Charlie, Alan in Kuala Lumpur, Alan Dumbong in New Zealand, and Richard Punai in USA, Indianapolis, going to chatting and talking about what we can do during the pandemic. And it's always been my plan to launch a Borneo Forum, but of course, that was more like a physical one pre-pandemic, and would have been a very, very tricky one to do. But with the Zoom and with the pandemic happen, this become so possible. And we launched it sometime last year, and we are now in the 12th session. This year is the 9th session, the 8th session now. So we had about a few sessions in last year, and this is our 8th session accordingly to the month. So what is Borneo Forum? Borneo Forum is the media division of Borneo Organization Limited. And I am the president, and we have 3 vice presidents, Alan Dumong in New Zealand, Eve Charlie in Kuala Lumpur and Sabah, and also Richard Punai, also the vice president. So why do we set up this Borneo organization? It is a for-profit company, but on the model of social enterprise for the benefit of the members, not only from Sabah and Sarawak, but also the whole Borneo, but it is a for-profit structure. And the Borneo Forum is so-called the division or the media division of Borneo Organization for now. It is possible that it's going to be launched fully as an entity on its own, but the main intention is to enable a platform to connect all Sabahan, all Sarawakian, all Kalimantanese Indonesian, to connect it with each other, because it's not very often for us to be able to connect with each other, so that we can talk about business and enterprise, social, sports. We are non-political. And that's why we did this based on primarily on the model of BMP Iaga. That is our vehicle, where the existing framework of ability for us to connect each other is already in place by the BMP Niaga. And of course, there's also the new IKN, the Ibu Kota Negara Baru, that is just being launched. That's also become a focal of our team, because I think that's going to be a huge project, and somehow Sabah, Sarawak, Brunei, Labuan, and the whole Kalimantan will have an opportunity to have a place to focus on, because that city is going to be a very significant for the whole Borneo, we believe, and a lot of the connection then are going to be built to that city, as well as Kuching, Sarawak, Kota Kinabalu, and of course Tawau and Brunei Darussalam and Labuan. So without talking too much, I've explained. Today we are in for a treat. Okay, we are in for a treat because we have Mr. Simon Christopher, who is a marine biologist, passionate about the environment. And I won't talk too much, but we are so privileged. This is a gentleman who has worked with big names such as Sir David Attenborough, who is a world-renowned naturalist and natural historian, and a BBC presenter. A wonderful opportunity to be able to work with Simon, who has worked directly with Sir David Attenborough. And before we start, we also supposed to have Dr. Sri, Dr. Jeffrey Kittingan joining us. But what he did then, because he has another appointment, he just kindly recorded a message for us of his speech. He meant to come live, but he was a little bit tired this morning, and he did pre-record a speech. So I'm going to play.
Members of the Borneo Forum Organization, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning, a very good afternoon and evening to all of you from wherever you are in our planet. First and foremost, it is a great pleasure for me to be part of today's significant event, the Borneo Forum number 8, a platform for the gathering and alliance of people and viewers from all over the world. With a curiosity and shared long-term vision of promoting and supporting voluntary action to learn and share knowledge and visions about the third largest island in the world, the island of Borneo, and the challenges and extensive economic, social, and environmental opportunities that can be found. I am made to understand that part of the Borneo Forum's vision is to plan, promote, and facilitate these opportunities, and foremost in Borneo Forum's approach is to combat climate change and move to lower carbon emission and resilient societies for Borneo. I would like to congratulate the Borneo Forum, Blue Hope, and the BIM Yaga Secretariat for organizing this event for Sabah and Borneo. It is indeed a very proud moment for me as Deputy Chief Minister and the head of the Dayak International Organization that the Borneo Forum has decided to hold this timely and critical event at this time and in Borneo. And while the event focuses on example in Sabah, the issues and opportunities have much wider significance because of the topics being presented in this afternoon. As Deputy Chief Minister and Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, I have taken note of your presentations and will try my best to tackle this through my portfolios. Ladies and gentlemen, my main focus for attending this forum is to cover two particular challenges that we all need to address. And these are on the climate crisis, and the other is the request and the need for the Borneo people to come together to tackle the climate crisis and at the same time grab the economic, social, cultural, and environmental opportunities that can be found in the region. Climate adaptation consists of taking steps to reduce the impact of climate change, while climate mitigation is taking steps to reduce carbon emissions and hence the extent of global warming. To ensure that Sabah is fully prepared to face and tackle the climate crisis, we urgently need to have a comprehensive state climate change adaptation and mitigation and extreme weather disaster risk management programs and policies. At state level, we will do our utmost at working with the new federal government of Malaysia and the cities, districts, local authorities, and agencies in Sabah to address these issues. In a similar manner, I am sure that the countries, government, and authorities that share this great island are already doing something effective. And it is my hope that we can work together for the good and sustainable future of Borneo and its people. In Sabah, the government will focus in promoting green and blue economy and forest conservation. We have already signed a nature conservation agreement as part of our commitment to mitigate climate change. We need to encourage more sustainable development projects while improving project procurement, increasing energy efficiency, future-proofing structures, streamlining regulations, and empowering consumers. Our infrastructure must be certified as sustainable Our building must be assessed and certified green, and we must put in place policies and programs that are climate resilient to protect our coastline, seas, and the beautiful coral triangle from sea level rises and pressing issues like fish bombing and plastic pollution. Reef Malaysia's monitoring of fish bombing in Sabah recorded 2,832 blasts from June 2014 until February 2020. It is a regular occurrence in Mantanani, northeast of Sabah, and in Semporna. This is a staggering number. Also, I know that our shores are affected by major pollution, notably marine plastic. I will get my ministry to look into these matters as soon as possible. The overwhelming change in our planet's climate is having a great impact on our food production and also water supply. The United Nations has projected that up to 25% of global food production could be lost by 2050 due to the combined impact of climate change and the degradation of land and water scarcity. In the meantime, the global population is projected to increase from the current 7 billion to 9.5 billion. This figure shows that temperature increases will have an impact on crop production in countries all over the world. And we know, for example, that some countries are already suffering. Sabah must be self-sufficient in food supply. At the same time, we have to grow the food industry to a point where we can export to the region and globally and set an example of how we can manage our resources sustainably and prosper at the same time. We will need proactive approach and the talents to go with these policies and aspirations. Ladies and gentlemen, we should also have a strategic plan to develop our green credentials and green technology in Sabah and Borneo for that matter, because the green market and the green economy will only become bigger as the world shifts towards these carbon-intensive products and energy sources to meet the Paris Agreement commitments. Solar, wind, hydro, and geothermal power can all be harnessed in Sabah. We must now make a conscious policy decision to move away from reliance on fossil oil fuels into the renewable energy in a significant way. Of course, we will need money, but things can be done as already shown in many examples all over the world. What is needed is for government commitments and determination. When governments announced that they would tackle the climate crisis, they allocated money to developing new technologies, showed how they could tackle rising sea levels in a low-lying island, and then they implement them. Sabah can also do the same, and so can Borneo. What the governments did is to rally the businesses, academia, and the people to ensure that funding is available to do the R&D, buy the technology, and bring in the expertise and do the job and spur universities as well as companies to innovate. So it can be done. And Sabah and Borneo can lead the way. Developing green businesses is not only the right thing to do morally to safeguard the world and our beloved island. It also makes great business sense. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope with this excellent Borneo Forum today and in the future will become a great rallying call and the gathering of countries, cities, and local governments and people from all over the world, our unique and beautiful island of Borneo. I sincerely hope that the Borneo Forum will become a major platform in Asia to systematically look into the impact of the climate crisis and how we together can protect our beautiful rainforests and environment. our unique cities and towns and villages, and our beautiful peoples. I would like our participants to fully engage and on this platform to be a champion of Borneo. I am pleased to inform that we have already set up a think tank body called the Borneo Institute, which will play a crucial role in setting up the right mindset through quality research aimed at influencing policy change towards a more sustainable Sabah and Borneo. Let us also continuously be committed in addressing climate issues to improve quality of life for Borneo communities, not only through cleaner air, greener and more livable cities, but also with improved management and delivery of public services. At the same time, let's conserve and protect our pristine natural environment and our wilderness. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, when we take measures to reduce carbon emissions, improve air quality and the livability of our cities, the health of our community improves, and we make our street cleaner, greener, and make a significant transition to clean energy use, we are investing in sustainable economic growth and greater equity. And when we take steps to conserve and protect our natural environment, we are ensuring the future life of Borneo and the life of the planet. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that the next forum will be held face to face, and I hope it will be held in Borneo. Have a great session. Thank you.
So that was a freshly recorded message that's not done long ago. That was really very, very new. And we are so grateful to Datuk Sri Doctor for taking the time and being so positive about our platform. And we are so proud of that. Now, we move forward in our agenda. Today, I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Simon Christopher. Okay. Who is Simon Christopher? He claimed to have come to Borneo and fell in love with Borneo. Apparently, he fell in love with a lady from Borneo, from Sabah first. So we do not know which one happened first, whether he fell in love with Borneo, Sabah, or he fell in love with a lady in Borneo. But it doesn't matter which one it was, because he is very much our own, very own Sabahan Borneo now, with his family in Sabah and children as well. But who is Simon Christopher? Simon Christopher is a founder of Scuba Zoo and Timor Blue, originally conceived and has continued to grow as a Blue Hope now. So I'm just so after Simon is a marine biologist, okay, a marine zoologist, he called himself by background, and also a storyteller. He tells stories. How he does that? He does that by producing a lot of high quality documentary. Okay, he produced hundreds of underwater films on the Coral Triangle, and in Sabah, based in Sabah, Malaysia, in Sabah. Yeah. So after running a scuba zoo for 23 years, yeah, Simon set up the Timor Blue in 2018 to fast track the deep impact marine conservation dovetail with maximum global awareness about the Coral Triangle from Timor-Leste. So having originally helped kickstart the Timor-Leste plastic neutral in 2019, Simon is excited about harnessing the true power of storytelling with Blue Hope to help drive much needed private transformational change throughout UNESCO's Ocean Decade. So exactly 1 year on from Blue Hope's original launch, after originally launching Sabah Plastic Neutral with Sabah government, by fully aligning Timor-Leste Plastic Neutral and Sabah Plastic Neutral, Blue Hope launched the ambitious Coral Triangle Plastic Neutral platform on World Ocean Coral Triangle Day 2021, together with strong support from the world-leading Norwegian waste-to-energy expert, VOW or VOW. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the presence of greatness, somebody who came to Sabah, to Borneo, so passionate about protection of the environment. And we are so privileged to have Simon Christopher among us. Simon, over to you.
Thank you, Ken. Salamat, everybody, and thank you to Borneo Forum, and thank you to Muhammad, Dr. Jeffrey Gittingan. Great to hear those inspirational words, and wonderful to hear about Borneo Institute as well. I'm sure matching Borneo Forum and Borneo Institute together, we can achieve many of our dreams for Sabah and Borneo. So good to hear about. Well, thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon. I am from the UK originally, and I studied marine zoology, as I say, as Ken said, and in 1995, I came to Sabah. I left London. I've been working in London for 4 years, and luckily I didn't get married or didn't buy a house, and I came in search of the best biodiversity, the best diving, and very quickly ended up in Sabah because Sabah has some of the best biodiversity as part of the Coral Triangle. And I met a few important people. I met Terence Lim, who you'll be hearing from later. One of the first people I met, and I started, I went to live on Sipadan for a few months. You can't do that now, sadly, but we were very lucky then. And I fell in love with Sipadan and very quickly realized the underwater world was where I needed to concentrate on my activities. But I headed out to Australia and very quickly got into underwater filming in Australia. And within a few days of filming in the Barrier Reef, I thought, wow, this is what I want to be doing. But Sipadan and Sabah are so much better than the Great Barrier Reef. I've got to come back to Sabah. So I came back and set up Scuba Zoo, filming divers in 1996. And it started there. And so over 23 years, I did meet Claire as soon as I got back here, my wife, a mother of our 3 children, and Sabah is now my home. And so Claire is from Penampang, Karazan Celonis. And so Sabah is my home. And 23 years later, about 200 hours of programming with the BBC, National Geographic, Discovery, we started to start telling our own stories with ScubaZoo.tv because we found that one of the things is how big the stories are with Sir David Attenborough. It was very hard for a lot of the people here in Sabah to actually watch the programming. So we decided to set up our own channel. So we set up ScubaZoo.tv, did programming in Malay, and we tried to inspire and get people excited about the biodiversity that people have here on their doorsteps. So what I'm going to do, the first start of this first chapter of this session, we're going to show you 2 or 3, 4 of the different shows that I was involved with, the kind of the best from Sabah, and really use those stories, those videos to tell the story that we want to convey, which is really the importance of biodiversity to all of us, every single one of us. So with that said, we're going to play the first show, which is the biggest ever TV show we managed with Sir David Attenborough. It's called Conquest of the Skies in 3D. It was literally the biggest show we ever did in the 23 years I was at Scuba Zoo. And we had Sir David Attenborough here. We're very lucky to have him. It was the last big show he ever did in Asia. He'd been here a few times. He came here 70 years ago. This was back in 2014. And we're just going to play a little 1-minute trailer for a show called Conquest of the Skies. And it was a show about flight. And they chose to come to Sabah because there are more flying creatures, more bats, more birds, more insects here than anywhere else. This was the biggest shoot they ever did across the whole project globally. And we were lucky to have Sir David here for 3.5 weeks. And you'll see some of the imagery in the trailer from Gomantong Caves, from Danang Valley. And let's start with that show just to kick things off with a bang with this amazing show, which was filmed in 3D. Conquest of the Skies. Thumbs up. Okay, I'm going to press play. Conquest of the Skies with Sir David.
Nature's greatest triumph begins with a leap of faith. Flight. The extraordinary power to defy gravity that has shaped evolution and created a kingdom in the sky. It will take you into the air, to the four corners of the earth, back into science, struggle, the survival, all in incredible 3D. 300 million years in the making. This is the story of flight. Join me, David Attenborough, in Conquest of the Skies. On Sky 3D and Sky One HD.
Wow, that's fantastic, Simon. That's fantastic. Obviously, there's a bit of a problem with the sound and all that, but we make do.
Conquest of the Skies with Scuba Zoo, what we were doing is we were setting up sort of 15-20 different shows in Sabah for visiting crews, and that was Scuba Zoo was possible to do that because there was so many stories here in Sabah. So Scuba Zoo kind of grew on locations like Sipadan, Kinabatangan, Danang Valley, and I think the thing to stress is that Sabah has this incredible biodiversity, and that is the value that we need to protect moving forward as we come out of COVID and we need to build back greener and bluer. So the next video to play is a show that we did on Sipadan for the BBC, or rather, BBC did a big series. We filmed 9 sequences for Blue Planet 2, but probably the most successful and memorable sequence of my time filming, setting up with Scuba Zoo was a sequence of turtles mating on Sipadan, which was used in a show called Life Story. And this has been used time and time again by National Geographic and Discovery. It's been shared across all the platforms, which is very unusual, but it's such an incredible piece. And the brief was to essentially show the lives of turtles, show turtles behaving in very human ways and show that they have real character. So what I'll do is I'll play this next sequence. Again, it has Sir David narrating, and I will just share this screen now, and hopefully the videos can be fine. Okay, so this sequence is it's called Life Courtship, and it's from Sipadan, and it's probably one of the most incredible sequences, behavioral sequences possible. Filming behaviors, turtles mating on Sipadan. Here goes.
In nature, it's rare to form such a lifelong commitment. For most animals, the mating game is both brief and fiercely competitive. A female green turtle must survive the dangers of the open ocean for 30 years before she's mature enough to mate. She's come here to the shallow waters of Malaysia to breed. A male. He's been waiting weeks for this opportunity. Courtship begins with the gentlest of circling.
Simon, you have to share your sound, Simon. You have to unmute yourself.
Sorry.
Unfortunately, they have company. Another male. He will do anything he can to separate the pair and mate with the female himself. He targets the soft, vulnerable parts. He knocks the air out of his rival. The female is struggling now with the extra weight on her back, and soon she will need to surface to take a breath. Another male. More. Here's another. Now the female has two males locked on her back, and it's twice as hard for her to get to the surface. After an hour of battling, the pair are being harassed by 7 males. But the males are so excited, they start attacking each other. In the commotion, the couple break away for the surface. The pair manage to make their escape, leaving the rival males milling around in confusion. Finally, they can mate in peace.
Okay, Simon, I do apologize all that the lagging in sound, I think is to do with the Kota Kinabalu Sabah broadband, but we make do. Okay, Simon, that was wonderful. That was amazing. I watched that video several times now, and over to you.
Thank you. Setting up the next video. So the next video we're going to watch is a little sequence from a documentary we filmed, a special documentary for National Geographic called Malaysia from Below. And the brief from National Geographic and Tourism Malaysia was to sell Malaysia's underwater world, make the most incredible 1-hour show about Malaysia's marine world. And obviously having come to Sabah, come to Malaysia, because of the marine biodiversity, this was the ultimate kind of project to be working on. And so we decided to conceive a story following the story across the whole Malaysia, starting in West Malaysia and then ending up in Sabah on Pulau Sipadan. And we decided to bring Jacques Cousteau's granddaughter, Alexandra Cousteau, back to Sipadan to retrace her grandfather's footsteps. And we also use Nick Baker as a talent presenter, and we even use underwater communications so that we could bring the underwater world into people's living rooms as they're watching it. Because one of the struggles with underwater filming is generally there's not enough budget. And so you see people diving and then they come up afterwards and they tell you what they've seen. So the ultimate way to tell underwater shows is to actually have people talking about the wildlife and what they're seeing and the experience and make it real. If you go to 35 seconds, 35.
Now this is Kuala Lumpur International Airport. Over 18 million people pass through here every year.
Okay. Oh, 35 minutes now. Yeah?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
$100 US dead, but much more alive. Why, this truly is the shark of the reefs. He's able to park himself up just like this. Unlike many more of the open water sharks that have to keep swimming in order to breathe, this guy can actively pump the water over his gills, which is what he's doing right now.
They've been evolving for hundreds of millions of years. I think they've reached a perfection that is rare to see. They're so perfectly adapted for their environment.
Great to be in the middle of this kind of fishy soap opera. Yes, beautiful. This is what it's all about. I love this place.
I'm with you there. I've really fallen in love with Sipadan.
Okay. I hope that was a bit more clearer. Is it more smooth, everyone? Is that a better coming from the UK? Good, good. Perhaps towards the end, we replay the mating. That was absolutely mesmerizing to me. When we have time, we'll play that because it's a bit stuck. It's a bit bad streaming, but go ahead.
The next show is we're going to start looking at a lot of the focus is on science and actual research and focusing on the areas which still have biodiversity. And so one of the things that happened a few years ago is I heard about this amazing location on the Kinabatangan, because I'm an underwater guy, but I heard about this amazing location in it's called Danau Garang Field Center, where you have a group of scientists led by Dr. Benoit Gosson and a lot of researchers from Cardiff University working with local scientists. And what they're doing is essentially tagging each of the creatures in the food chain. So everything from the small wildlife, so monitor lizards right up to elephants. And because there's such a fragmented piece of landscape, it's under a lot of stress. You've got old palm on one side, and then you've got the Kinabatangan River, which is full of lots of effluent. It's like Tetarik. It's got lots of crocodiles. And so you've got this amazing collection of wildlife, and these amazing scientists all doing their work. And I went to see this location. I was absolutely blown away. So we said we've got to showcase this location because it really is very special. So we made a series on scubasy.tv called Borneo Jungle Diaries. And it really is an incredible location. And Sabah has so many locations like this that are so special. But one of the things that I want to emphasize is Sabah has such value and so many great people all working together And really what we need to do is bring the Sabah story and the Borneo story to the world now, as everyone really starting to appreciate the value of biodiversity. So with that said, Ken, if you could play the trailer for Borneo Jungle Diaries, that'd be great.
This is their home, the Danau Garang Field Centre.
Before release, we need to monitor, then we can release it this evening.
So just in here, we've got a tarantula who's just had spiderlings. There must be at least 10 in there.
You know, snakes are not that common, but I always hope. We'll try again tomorrow and every day.
I don't want him wrapped around my arm because he can actually force his head out from my hand.
Have you caught crocs like this before?
In terms of catching them, this is going to be my first experience.
And how do we know that the crocs like mum and dad aren't nearby?
Well, that's why we have to do it really quickly.
Go.
You just got mock charge.
That's a mock charge,
That
was
is
it?
not a real charge. It's just to scare you off.
It works.
At a place like this, there are always scientific discoveries to be made. Higher! You gotta be pretty strong.
Okay, great, thank you. So that was one of the shows we did really showcasing this amazing group of scientists on down in Kinabatangan. Another show that we did was called Borneo Wildlife Warriors, which really is Borneo and Sabah today, which is a lot of human-animal conflicts. And so we followed the work of the Wildlife Rescue Unit, and Bertie, our presenter, very engaging, charismatic fella, came to Sabah, came to live with us, and he spent a time working with the Wildlife Rescue Unit, learning to become a ranger, a wildlife ranger. If we could play the next video, and if you could try and put it onto full screen. I'm not sure, I don't think the last one was on full screen, Ken. Maybe it's just me.
Right.
But if you could do Borneo Wildlife Warriors in full screen.
Yeah, and full screen. Okay.
Deep in some of the most biodiverse jungles on Earth, there is a conflict between man and nature. Yet there is one group that is fighting to resolve this. Their name is the Wildlife Rescue Unit.
I want to join their team. I want to live their lives.
The kind of environment that WRE works in, it's basically jungle. It's a whole different ballgame.
We are properly lost in the jungle. I remember that branch.
Sure?
Maybe. I want to be a ranger.
Wow.
Okay, great. Thank you.
That was amazing.
So the biggest kind of sadness over the last 10, 15, 20 years has been watching this biodiversity get whittled away and slowly get destroyed and damaged. And so one of the key things that we did about 5, 6 years ago is we set up Stop Fish Bombing. I set it up with Terence Lim, who's on the call now. So I'm going to pass over to Terence Lim to explain where he's got to, because he's been running with the Stop Fish Bombing ball in Malaysia now for the last 5 years. Some incredible work. And over to you, Terence, just to share where you're at and what the next steps are. Thank you.
Okay, Terence, are you able to share your slides yourself?
No, I won't be able to, Ken.
Okay.
Is it possible to do it from your end? I'll just cue you as we go.
Okay, let's see.
If not, I can do it if necessary.
Okay. Yes, Simon. Simon, you do it.
Well, I don't think I can play the video. So because we
I will play the video. I can play the videos now, but not the slides.
Okay. Do you have the video? Do you?
Okay. So do we want to play a video first or the slide?
Yeah, do the video first. Do the video first. Easier.
The video is okay. This is fun. We have now the video number 7, SDA.
No, it's not on that list. It's in the PowerPoint presentation.
Okay, it's gonna be a challenge for me because the PowerPoint at the moment, I've gone in a roundabout way to be able to share the videos only, but not the files. I do apologize. It's a strange situation which I've never encountered before. Okay, let me try this one. It is a strange situation which I've never ever encountered, but it is what it is. Documents, right? Okay, documents. Yeah, somehow the slides at the moment is not appearing in my file because on a video share mode, and it won't allow me to share the slides. By the way, I do apologize. Files, let's try files. No, it won't let me find that thing, which is very, very strange. A very strange situation. I've never encountered this problem before. Is there any way for you to share, Simon, or?
I'll get the presentation up now.
Okay, yeah, it is a strange. I've done hundreds of presentations now, and this is the very first time. And I probably to do with the fact that it has gone into a Microsoft mode, and I cannot reverse that at the moment without jeopardizing, risking the whole collapse. I accessed the Microsoft 365, and that seems to disable everything else. So we are learning all the time. So bear with us. We are going to hear from Terence, his amazing work, experience, and at the very least, he's here for us to talk and show what he's doing. Are you okay, Simon?
Okay. Can everyone see that?
Okay, I can see that.
Okay. Terence, I'm gonna, on your cue, you tell me where to go.
Yeah. So yeah. Right. Hi, everybody. Can everybody hear me? Can you hear me fine?
Yes, I can hear you. Thanks.
All right. Good. Right. So that means everybody can hear me.
Yeah.
So yeah, Stop Fish Bombing, or SFB, SFB Malaysia, is actually an organization that was set up by myself, Simon, a few other individuals that are based all over the world. Most of them are in the US. So what we are actually doing is actually we're using technology to detect a blast underwater, fish bomb underwater. So it's basically a hydrophone that is installed underwater to listen into fish bomb. So before I continue, let's play the video, Simon.
Okay, just bear with me. Yeah, I think we're going to have to, if you continue the presentation, and I'll try and get the video because it won't play from my. I thought that was going to be playing from the other from Ken's deck. So if you keep going, Terence, and I'll try and get the video another way, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. Okay, then we go to the third slide then.
Yeah, it's to do with your licensing, Simon.
All right, so if you can see on this slide here, so it basically shows what's a fish bomb. I think a lot of people have heard about fish bomb, maybe have seen some pictures of it, of what a fish bomb is, how it's made. So basically what's on the left side of the slide, you can see our, sad to say this, but our very popular Tiger beer bottle. It's being used as a fish bomb apparatus. There is what we call a wooden matches right at the top of the bottle. It's actually wrapped around the fuse or the detonator. They will light up the wooden matches, and then it will burn the detonator, which has a blasting cap inside the bottle. And once that's lit up, they will then throw it off the boat. So they are, just for everybody's information, they can actually gauge the depth of the water by extending the fuse. The longer the fuse, the deeper the water. So if they see the water is not deep, so they will reduce the length of the fuse, light it up, and throw it overboard. So the basic component of what's inside that bottle is ammonium nitrate or any nitrate-based chemical. In the old days, where the fish bomber have the ability to access to kerosene, minyak tanah lah, for most of us here that knows what is kerosene as minyak tanah, they will cook the fertilizer with kerosene, basically to dry it up, and the kerosene acts as a catalyst for the nitrate. So because of the excess of kerosene are now very difficult to obtain, they have now switched over to diesel. So they are now cooking ammonium nitrate with diesel, and then after it has dried, they will then pack it into the bottle, and that is the fish bomb. Also, the other thing that we have learned recently is that they are now also using plastic bottles instead of glass bottles, just because I think it's easy to access plastic bottles than glass bottles. So once they put all these components into the bottle and then lit it up, and they will throw it overboard, as you can see on the image on the right. That's how an explosion will look like. So this explosion is actually very near the surface. So they are also, they can also detonate it deeper in the water where you won't see much splash on the surface. So that's how a fish bomb looks like, and how it's made and what it's made of. Then slide number 4, please, Pi. Next slide, Simon.
Sure.
Here you can see we can explain who are the fish bomber. We basically break them into 3 categories. One are the first one on the left are what we call the individuals, which they go out mainly to feed their family. They probably not more than 10 or 20 blasts a day, this particular group, individuals. And these are purely mainly people that are struggling to feed a family of maybe 4, 5, or maybe more children at home. So this is, for them, it's just a quick way to go out, fish bomb, get a fish bomb, throw in the water and pick up the fish, and they could feed their family. Just for sharing, the cost for a fish bomb now in the market is around 35 ringgit per piece. The next group in the middle is what we call them bandits. These are the group that normally terrorize or actually control a village. What they normally do is that they will go out and fish bomb, and they collect the fish that's been bombed, and they use the villagers as a front to sell the fish. So they are not really in direct selling, but they get the people in the village to sell, and they normally are controlling the villages. And this group will probably do about 50 to 100 bombs a day. And then the next one on the right is the industrial guys. We have seen them operating more in the north of Sabah towards Kudat, Mantanani, North, Kudat to Bangi, and even closer to the border of to Palawan side. So they go out with a mothership, a big wooden boat, about 40, 50-foot wooden boat, and they will have smaller boats inside with them. Once they get to the location, they will deploy the smaller boats, and the small boat will go out and fish bomb all around the reef. What happened here is that one of the challenges of catching this particular group of people is that they normally go to very remote area, very far away area, and then they will go and fish bomb. Once they blast and they catch the fish, pick up the fish, they will bring them back to the mothership. They will process the fish immediately. They cut out the stomach, discard the internal part of the fish, the gills and so on, which are normally the telltale sign of a fish that is been bombed. They will then immediately clean the fish and put it into salt brine and they leave it in the salt for a few days, and then they will dry them. So these are the main supplier of dry fish. Most of the dry fish that we probably see in the market, especially small size fish, there's very likely coming from this particular group of fish bombers. Next slide, please, Simon.
Yeah.
Yeah, the damages caused by fish bomb. On the left, you can see wasted fish that are not picked up. Some are just left in the water. Collateral damage like turtles and corals and other marine life. In the middle there, that's how a reef will look like after it has been blasted. Injury to the fish bomber themselves, loss of limb, and the last one on the bottom right are dead baby fish. I'm just gonna highlight this a little bit. Our minister, Dr. Jeffrey, just mentioned something about climate change. He was focusing on his speech about climate change, talk about pollution. He spoke on the need of making sure that we look after our environment, look after our nature. And you spoke a little bit on highlight on the point of food production that we need to look into, which are caused by the climate crisis. But I think what fish bombing here contribute to all of this is actually there is a struggle and there is definitely a threat in our food security. What I mean by food security is that in the many years that we have seen the activity of the fish bomber, the behavior of the fish bomber, they have been bombing on reefs. And through a lot of effort done by a lot of NGO, WWF, one of them, the Reef Guardian, and so on, Reef Check. There are a lot of people putting a lot of effort in trying to educate the community as to the damage is caused by fish bomb. And a lot of the focus on the damage on coral. We also have having report that a fish bomber have moved from blasting on coral reef to blasting on sandy patches. So one of the interview that we did one with a fish bomber, that when we asked, why are you bombing the sandy patches now? His response was that we are not damaging the reef anymore. We're not destroying the reef where the fish are living. We are now bombing on the sand. But there is a huge indirect impact of this activity. If either you bomb on the reef or on the sand, you still a fish bomb, you're still fish bombing, it's still illegal, you are not allowed to do that. But there is another fact here that I like to highlight, coming back to what I mentioned earlier on, is food security. Food security is something that is directly involved in fish bombing. If we look at the fish, the food triangle, fish bombing are basically happening in the middle of the food triangle. All that is killed or damaged are from the middle down. The middle up are normally they could survive the blast. Fish are bigger or further away. But those that are middle down, I'm referring to all the way down to microscopic. The planktons, the fish fries, the baby fishes, all the collateral damage that's caused by the shock wave. And the shock wave travel long distances. And from our record, shock wave can travel all the way to almost 5-6 kilometers away. So if a smaller fish is within that range of the 4 or 5 kilometers, that shock wave might kill it. So all this collateral damage is not in situ where the blast is happening, but it's actually covering a range much greater than the location of where the blast is happening. So it is quite important for us to highlight this particular issue of the concussion. The shock wave from the blast is actually damaging and killing marine life much further away than actually where we normally know or have seen. So this indirectly is actually threatening our food security, meaning no small fish, no fish fries, no more big fish. So I will come back to this again later on, but food security is definitely an issue here when it comes to fish bombing. Next slide, please, Pai. Simon.
Yeah.
So this is what we have been doing all with our sensors. We have deployed sensors in a few locations in Sabah, some in Kota Kinabalu, some in Semporna. The sensors are, there's two components to the sensors. One is on the surface and the other component is in the water. The one that is on the surface is that little box there on the left side of the screen. It's inside the weatherproof box. There's some electronic component in there, battery, solar controller, and so on. On the right, you can see that the long cables that were the hydrophone cables that they were laying, this is the component that is in the water. So some of the cables are as long as 350 meters long, some is about 20, 30 meters long. So this particular location, the reef is quite further off from a nearest structure that we could install the box. So it's about 300 meters away. And that's how it looks like underwater. There's our divers there underwater installing the hydrophones. Next slide. Simon, next slide, Simon.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, so we have been installing sensors in our waters here for the past couple of years. So in this slide, you can see that we have 4 cornerstones that what we want to achieve. So what we have here is on the far left again, number 1 is what we are actually doing now. which are sensors that have been, as in the pictures before this, sensors that's been deployed underwater and listening in to the blast. However, even though we are able to get a triangulation of the location of the blast with our sensors that have been deployed, we do see a challenge that is still being faced by the local authorities, mainly because of the distance, time and distance. They will not have boats on standby 24 hours just for this purpose. And also some of their blasting activities are happening quite further away from the base of where the Marine Police or the park rangers are located. So we are looking into our second phase, which is installing a radar. This is a smart radar. What this radar can do is that it has the ability to track, memory to track, and also it has a camera to take an image of the suspect boat. So how it works is that our sensors will then detect a blast. It will then record the location of the blast. It will send the location of the blast to the radar. The radar will then sweep the area for a target. If they confirm that there is a target at that location, if it's not too far away, obviously the further away, the quality of the image of the camera from the camera will be less. So we'll try and get a picture, an image of the boat, or even the individual that on the boat that are doing the activity. And if we do not have a patrol boat in that location at that time, what we could do is that we can track the boat movement, where it came from and where it's going to. So we can forward this information to the relevant authorities. They could intercept the boat, or they could ambush the boat as it traveled away from the blast site. And also they will have a picture of the image of the boat, of how it looks like. So this will then help the local authorities to apprehend these fish bombers. The third phase is the drones. This is something that we are working on. We hope to deploy drones at strategic location, same as the radar. The minute our underwater sensors picks up the blast, it will then send the information to the drone. The drone will then take off and it will fly autonomously to the location of the blast and take images on real time. One of the challenge, what we noticed is that when a fish bomber sees a patrol boat coming, they will, as fast as they can, dispose of any evidence, fish bomb apparatus, and even fish overboard. So we have a drone that can get to the location as fast as possible and autonomously. It will then be able to capture video and images of the activity that is going on. Even if the fish bomber tried to discard of any evidence, at least we have some image of him doing or trying to dispose of evidence. And this all can be used later on if the fish bomber is caught. And all of this information will then be input into a mobile app. And in this mobile app, the local enforcement will have access to it, and they can get all this information in real time, if not at least no later than 10 minutes after any of this activity that has happened. Next slide, please, Simon. Our goal is to have Sabah fish bomb free. As I said earlier on, food security is our #1 issue here. The impact of the fish bomb affects the food chain. There is probably not enough study or no studies being done yet, but I think I strongly believe if a study is being done, there is a lot of impact of proof, the data that can be provided to show that fish bomb has a huge impact on the food security, probably as bad as a fish trawler trawling the reef. And most important here is that we are here. We are a technology provider. We are an information provider using technology. We are not engaging directly with the community. We need assistance in this. We hope other NGOs that are listening in, and even the local authorities, local village community heads, and so on, they can be the champion of leading the communities. What we are trying to achieve here is that we have the ability to control, to manage, and to stop these fish bombing activities, but the community needs to be assisted. We are not here to put any fish bomber, all the fish bombers in jail, because that does not serve the purpose. We need to get them to change. And to change, we need the community to engage with us, with other NGOs, that we now have the ability to check on them if they are fish bombing. And one of the things that we believe from the community is the women empowerment. We believe by empowering the women in the community, they are able to change the men, change the behavior of the men that are doing fish bombing. From our engagement with a lot of the fish bombing communities, when we speak to the women, we know that they do not want the men in their community to be put in jail. They do not want their husband, their brothers, their son to be caught and to put in jail. They are very willing to hope to change. And with this so-called technology that we have, we believe that we are able to change them, but we need assistance to change them. We need funds, we need guidance, we need a lot of community-based activity to change these fish bombers' behavior. So to that, we hope that there is support coming in to us to support our goal, our activity, and our goal. We want to install as many fish bomb sensors around Sabah as possible. At the moment, we only have a small area in Sempurna and only a small area in Kota Kinabalu, which has the sensors deployed. But we hope to have the whole Sabah fully protected, fully managed, and fully monitored from fish bombing activities. Next slide, Simon. So here are just some references. I mean, we could share this later on to everybody that are here. You can get all the information. We have a science paper published of how our sensors work. So it's not that we just say that we have a sensor, we put in the water that it will work. But there is a proper science study, published paper to showcase the science behind the sound wave, the detection, the calculations, and all the scientific proof that is needed in the science paper. So it's in the public domain. You have access to it. And lastly, the last slide, Simon. Yes, thank you very much for your time to listen in. So that's my number there on the last slide, and I hope, Simon, if we can play that video. I think that's a very powerful video. Hopefully we could play that.
Yeah, we're going to play that now. I think Ken's going to play that now. Thanks, Terence. I'm going to stop my sharing screen. Ken, are you there?
Yes. Hang on. Yes, hang on. I'm going to play it now. I'm going to play it.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm just going to play it. Okay. 6.6.2.
Every person on this planet has a connection with the ocean. From the water we drink to the fish stocks and unsustainable livelihoods it supports. But the heart of the oceans, the coral reefs, are under immense pressure from climate change, acidification, plastic pollution, trawling, and the most destructive fishing method of all, fish bombing. Fish bombing happens throughout Southeast Asia, including the Coral Triangle, the most biodiverse underwater habitat on the planet. It is illegal in every country, but until now, they've not had the means to detect it in order to enforce these laws. If fish bombing continues, people and communities will continue to lose their fisheries and future livelihoods, and the world will continue to lose some of the most beautiful, diverse, and productive habitats of all. Up until very recently, there's not been a way to know where and when fish bombing occurs. But now, Stop Fish Bombing shows where fish bombs explode immediately, in real time. By adapting proven US law enforcement technology to locate gunfire in cities, we can now report the exact time and location every time a fish bomb goes off. The boat can then be tracked by radar, drone, and video camera until it can be intercepted by law enforcement authorities. So how does it work? Acoustic sensors, hydrophones, are placed at strategic underwater locations, and the difference in arrival time of the explosion at each sensor is used by a central computer to triangulate the location. The system then reports the exact location within seconds on a mobile app. And with this very precise information, marine law enforcement authorities are alerted to take immediate action. While Stop Fish Bombing's technology is now able to locate fish bombs as they happen, more funding is needed to turn prototypes into robust systems to enable effective enforcement, to provide education and alternative ways for communities to feed their families. Everyone agrees we must stop fish bombing to save coral reefs and the livelihoods of those depending on them. Let's start now.
I really want to thank you for what you're doing to use your voices, use your power, show the evidence of how terrible it is to use explosives to bomb coral reefs. We're bombing our future.
We call upon all our friends in the region and around the world to support us with technical assistance and funding to achieve SDGs 14, stopping illegal, unregulated and destructive fishing by 2020 in our waters.
Wow, that was powerful. That was powerful. Okay, thank you very much indeed, Terence and Simon.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Are you there, Simon?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm here. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Terence. Great work. So the next chapter of this talk is really about the future. So essentially, the movement that we started last year was really triggered by plastic. We were working with the British High Commission, and there's a big plastic problem in Malaysia, but there's a big plastic problem all over the world. So we started Blue Hope at the beginning of last year, and we brought Sir David Attenborough in to do a film about plastics. There was a big event working with the British High Commission, and I've teamed up with some great local divers and a network. My partner for Sabah Plastic Neutral, and Blue Hope Sabah is Monica Chin, and Terence, and we have a few of us, and we've been banging the drum here from Kota Kinabalu, Sabah, and the idea is to align with Timor-Leste. 2 years ago, we started Timor-Leste Plastic Neutral, and Sir David Attenborough helped us with this. So one of the things we've done recently is we've contacted Sir David again, and because he's the face of climate change, COP26, the British High Commission in Singapore wanted us to do the programming for COP26 this year, leading up to climate change event in Glasgow in November. We were very lucky to be able to film Sir David again just on Richmond Park, just outside his house in London a few months ago. So what we're going to play now is the little short video, social media video, which we're going to be using as a global online platform to create awareness about climate change. And we're hoping to do this in many different languages. And this is literally just been released. This is the first time we've been able to play it. So Ken, if you could play that next video, please. And I think what I'd like to highlight here is all the images, pretty much all the images from this campaign are from Sabah. And that's really what this whole webinar and discussion is about, is the Sabah has the value and how we're going to protect that value moving forward. Ken, if you could play that next video, please.
Just to confirm, is that titled SDA?
Correct, yes.
Correct.
As a boy, I yearned to see the glories of the tropical world, the mysteries of the rainforest, the jungle, the unbelievable beauties of a coral reef, nature at its most complex and glorious. And nowhere are these beauties and wonders more evident than here in Southeast Asia. But since that time, they've changed. And I have seen it happening. But these losses are not irreversible, not yet. Nature can recover if given the chance. Mangroves can be replanted. The rainforest can spread back into areas where it once flourished. Coral reefs will regrow if allowed to do so. And cities themselves, the home for so many of us, can welcome back wildlife and help it flourish. Urban green spaces can help cool our cities and reduce the risk of floods. I'm truly delighted that the UK, as president of COP26 in partnership with Italy, is calling for urgent action to put the protection of nature and diversity at the very centre of climate policies. All of us, no matter who we are, have a responsibility to care for the planet. The future of all humanity now depends on us.
Wow, that's a powerful one. In fact, I'm only just 5 minutes walk away from Richmond Park, just outside my door. So the next one, Simon, do I play the next one?
If I could just explain a little bit. So what we've done is we've teamed up with Timor-Leste government, Timor-Leste Plastic Neutral, Coral Triangle, Sabah Plastic Neutral to form Coral Triangle Plastic Neutral. What I'd like to do is just play the video that we use with Her Royal Highness, Her Royal Deepness, Dr. Sylvia Earle, who is really to the blue world. She is to the ocean what Sir David is to green, if you like. And so we brought her in, and we basically nominated Timor-Leste for a hope spot with her Mission Blue. And we're going to play the video we used to launch that. And that came through last year. And this is what we're looking to do here in Sabah very soon, is nominate Sabah for a hope spot as well. If we could play this video, please.
Just to confirm, it's called Blue Hope TL World Children's Day?
No, it's Blue Hope. It's Timor-Leste Blue Hope I think if you hit the next video after the one you've just played, it should be okay.
I'm Sylvia Earle. I'm an ocean explorer, a scientist, and founder of Mission Blue. I want to salute you for what you are doing in Timor-Leste, for celebrating your ocean, taking care of your ocean, and sharing it with people from all over the world. With hundreds of blue whales swimming past Dili every year, families of sperm whales and many different species of dolphins so close to shore, and dugongs just 5 minutes away from the international airport, you have the most extraordinary and precious blue world in your hands. Truly incredible. Thank you for what you're doing. Tourism actually serves as a powerful education, causing people to be aware of why they matter, why the ocean matters. Timor-Leste is, of course, also blessed with tremendous oil and gas reserves. And while there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that your whales, dolphins, and dugongs are much more precious, their combined value must be realized and shared across all the different marine stakeholders through proper ecotourism as quickly as possible. So, while you have some really big challenges ahead, by working very closely together through ATM-TL with multiple stakeholder collaboration and planning, with your combined strength and unity, Timor-Leste's blue world will surely stand out above the rest and get proper protection that it really needs and deserves. I want to assure you that you have mine and Mission Blue's full support, and I very much hope to experience Timor-Leste's amazing blue wonderland myself soon. You truly are reason for hope. Thank you.
Thank
Wow.
you, Ken. So just to explain, so Timor-Leste, together with Sabah in Malaysia and Indonesia and Philippines and Solomon Islands and PNG, all part of the Coral Triangle, which is 4% of the world's surface area, about the size of the States. And there's more biodiversity in that 4% than the rest of the planet combined. So that is a value that we need to embrace and protect. And of course, Sabah is the reason why Malaysia is part of that Coral Triangle. It's down to Sabah, the East Coast. The dark blue represents biodiversity. So this is Sabah's opportunity to team up with Timor-Leste and act as one across the whole Coral Triangle, and the world will support this movement. And so what we're looking to do is do this with Sabah plastic neutral and have the support coming into Sabah with this movement. So where does it all begin? Well, we're looking to start with education and awareness. We're working with DBKK. We've signed a MOU with DBKK for Sabah plastic neutral and KK plastic neutral. And education and awareness is really what it's all about. And so as we started talking to all the teachers, and we started talking to all the principals of the schools, saying, look, what's it going to take for you to go plastic neutral, and what's going to stop people, kids using plastic bags? They said, yes, we're trying to stop plastic bags. We're trying to ban plastic, stop selling plastic in the canteen. And what about plastic bottles? Well, and then we asked that question and said, well, we can't do anything about plastic bottles because we can't provide clean, reliable drinking water. So that was pretty shocking for us when we found out that all 1,296 schools across the whole of Sabah, none of them can provide clean drinking water. So we said, okay, this is a big issue. So what are we going to do about this? We've got to actually change this situation, and we can't have kids watching the David Attenborough videos drinking from plastic bottles. That's not going to work either. So we've got to tackle the water problem. So we teamed up with a wonderful partner, French partner called Fonte de Vivo, that have an amazing water filter system, and the plan is to bring that into all of the schools in Sabah, donate that to the schools, and dovetail that with a Rethinking Plastic campaign. So what I like to do now, Ken, if you could play the next video, which is, if we skip the one about Timor-Leste plastic neutral, because we're running out of time, and I want to make sure we have enough time for questions. If we could do water is life, please. Let's listen to Sir David, the special plastic video message for Malaysia. So if you skip the congratulating Timor-Leste, let's do the SDA special plastic video special message for Malaysia, please, and then we'll go straight into the front of the video, please, Ken.
Okay.
So
I'm trying to figure out what would be the title of that. The next one is Timor-Leste SDA.
Yeah.
And then there's
No,
David
so
Attenborough.
after that, it's the one.
Plastic,
the one
yeah?
after that. So SDA special plastic video message for Malaysia.
Okay.
Hello, Malaysia. My name is David Attenborough, and I'm a naturalist, and I've travelled around the world making films for more than 65 years. Once we thought that the world's oceans were so vast and its inhabitants so infinitely numerous that nothing we did could affect them. But now we are seeing a new side to the oceans. As a filmmaker, I've been hugely privileged to travel the world and celebrate the wonders beneath the ocean's surface, including off Malaysia, one of my favourite places of all. Sabah and Sarawak have over 550 species of coral. Peninsular Malaysia, seagrass beds, their very own spectacular plants and other marine life, critical for the survival of your endangered dugongs and sea turtles. But in recent years, I've witnessed firsthand that plastic waste is destroying marine life the world over. What's so tragic about plastic pollution is that it is so totally unnecessary. The plastic in our oceans should never have found its way there in the first place. A staggering 8 million tons of plastic now ends up in our oceans every year. This is a disaster. Blue Planet 2's crew saw plastic everywhere they filmed. And once it's in the sea, it stays there and it doesn't go away. But this catastrophic damage to our oceans is reversible, and nature can recover if we give it a chance. While the actions of just one of us, you, may seem to be so very small with really no effect at all, in fact, knowing there are hundreds of thousands of people all doing the same thing is starting to have a truly positive effect. Every single one of us now needs to think, and I mean really think, about how we use plastic. So, I strongly urge you all to treat plastic with care, because if it reaches the environment, it will stay there for a very long time, if not forever, and ultimately affect us all. Every one of us should be extremely proud of their natural heritage and passionate to protect and conserve it, and ensure that it remains around for future generations. We all have a responsibility to care for our planet. The future of humanity, and indeed all life on Earth, now depends on us. Thank you very much, and good luck.
Thank you, Ken. And if we go straight into the next video, which is the front of the Vivo video, and then I'll talk a little bit more, and then we've got two more videos after that, and then we'll start to go to questions. Thank you.
Okay. Just looking at this. This is I numbered this sequence in sequence. The next video I have in sequence is VOW story. That's the other one.
No, it's Ponto de Vivo. So it's the one that came after the plastic message.
Okay. Because it's numbered as Orissa here when I downloaded it. Is that the one? Orissa? No?
Okay. Orissa, correct. Yes. Thank you.
Orissa.
Right.
Okay. Good.
I'm David Monnier, Fonto de Vivo's co-founder and president. It took us over 2 years of R&D to produce the Oreza, a durable family water purifier. The Oreza is meant to fit the needs of INGOs, local organizations and governments willing to provide access to safe drinking water in rural areas and during emergencies responses. Together with the technical support of some of the main French INGOs, we designed a long-lasting autonomous purifier. Long-lasting because made with top-quality French ultrafiltration membranes, but also because of a patented built-in backwash system. Our main goals are to enable users to be self-sufficient water-wise, to offer a nexus solution able to cover access to drinking water from emergency to development, and to improve the social impact of humanitarian operations. The Oreza is made in France, repairable and recyclable. It is made to last years without need of energy and spare parts in order to limit its environmental impact. We want to massively deploy the Oreza all over the world in order to support the UNDG objectives, aiming at providing a universal access to potable water before 2030.
¿Lo puedes tomar? Pruébalo a ver. Felicidad.
So pretty miraculous bit of kit that, but that's relatively inexpensive. It does not take any electricity. It has a backwash system. And so the idea is that we take that to every school and we start delivering reliable, clean drinking water. And at the same time, we bring in Rethinking Plastic messaging campaign with Sir David Attenborough. And we've teamed up with Maya Corinne, there's a local talent, and we've produced a series called Rethinking Plastics, which we're going to roll out to all of the schools at the same time as we deliver water. And then we'll have work activities for them to take back into the home to educate the families to stop throwing away plastic, but keeping plastic. So if we just play the first of the 3 videos, Rethinking Plastic videos, which is in Malay with Sir David Attenborough, and then we'll have another quick chat and then we'll throw it to questions. Thank you, Ken. So this is the Rethinking Plastics, the first of those videos with Maya Corinne in Malay. And this is a video that was produced by Plastic Oceans, now called Ocean Generation. And we've turned this into a Malay campaign.
The importance of the oceans. They provide us with more than half the oxygen we need. Every second breath you take comes from the oceans. They absorb much of the carbon dioxide we produce. They are an important source of protein for billions of people on the planet. Every drop of water, indeed everything we drink, has come from the oceans. The ocean is our life support system. If that system becomes dysfunctional, then all living things on this planet will suffer.
Bila anda lihat bumi dari angkasa, anda akan tahu kenapa ia dipanggil planet biru. 71% permukaan bumi diliputi oleh lautan, dan lautan amat penting untuk semua makhluk hidup. Tarik nafas 2 kali. Oksigen yang anda sedut dalam salah satu nafas itu datang dari lautan, kerana lebih separuh daripada oksigen bumi dihasilkan di lautan. Ini disebabkan oleh organisma mikroskopik yang dikenali sebagai phytoplankton. Setiap hari berbilion tumbuhan kecil ini, alga dan bakteria hasilkan oksigen melalui fotosintesis dan melepaskannya ke atmosfera. Phytoplankton juga menyerap karbon dioksida yang membantu mengatur iklim kita. Mereka adalah asas kepada jaringan makanan laut, sumber makanan kepada semua, dari sekecil zooplankton sehingga sebesar ikan paus. Mereka mungkin antara organisma terkecil di lautan, tetapi fitoplankton menggalas salah satu tugas terbesar di planet ini. Kehidupan bermula di lautan lebih 3 bilion tahun yang lalu. Hari ini, jutaan spesies tinggal di sana. Ianya biodiversity yang luar biasa, dihubungkan oleh rantaian makanan pemangsa yang mengagumkan dan hubungan yang saling berkait. Jaringan makanan di laut tidak terhad pada persekitaran marin. Hidupan liar pesisir pantai dan berbilion manusia di planet ini juga bergantung padanya sebagai sumber makanan yang penting. Bagi sebilangan negara membangun di dunia, lautan membekalkan sumber protein yang utama. Ramai orang menganggap lautan adalah tempat yang istimewa. Kita mencari laut untuk hobi dan percutian kita, untuk berehat, untuk bermain dan terukainya. Kita tertarik kepada keindahan dan kehebatannya. Ramai orang sedar dengan hanya duduk dan pandang ke lautan boleh buat mereka rasa lebih segar. Ia menenangkan dan menambah semangat kita. Ia mengingatkan bahawa kita hidup di dunia yang indah. Tahukah anda, tiada air baru dihasilkan di bumi? Jumlah air yang sama berkitar sentiasa, menyejak dari lautan hingga membentuk awan. Hujan yang turun dari awan sebagai air tawar akan kembali lagi ke lautan. Kitaran ini adalah gelung tertutup yang telah wujud berbilion tahun lamanya. Kebanyakan haiwan dan tumbuhan perlu air untuk hidup. Tanpa air tawar yang disediakan oleh lautan, kehidupan di darat tidak akan mampu untuk wujud, termasuklah manusia. 60% dari badan kita adalah air. Air yang datang dari lautan. Air adalah kehidupan. Kesejahteraan lautan amat penting untuk hidupan di bumi. Tanpa persekitaran marin yang sihat, kita tidak akan ada planet yang sihat. Dan itu akan menjejaskan kita semua. Menjaga kesihatan laut kita adalah cabaran penting bagi generasi kita. Kita semua perlu melibatkan diri untuk diri kita, rakan dan keluarga kita. Dan untuk setiap makhluk hidup yang berkongsi planet ini dengan kita.
So education awareness is key, and that's very powerful programming. We've got 3 parts of there. We've got that episode, and we've got one that is basically what is plastic, explains all the different types of plastics, and then it talks about real plastic pollution. So the idea is that we kickstart a big campaign later this year. We've obviously been delayed by COVID, but we're looking to do the first 100 schools. It's about 50,000 kids and teachers, and provide clean drinking water, remove their dependence on plastic, at the same time as try and kickstart this behavior change in the home. And so this is what we're going to be doing later this year. We've just really got to kickstart the engine and be able to get out to see the schools, and the schools have obviously got to come back. Everyone has been struggling because of COVID. But the final piece of the big puzzle is our partnership with VOW, very exciting, alongside our MOU with DBKK. VOW, leaders in waste to energy in Norway, they are literally finalizing an offer for us and Saba where they're going to bring the first plastic waste to energy machine, which we're looking to use over in Pulau Gaya, and then move that from cleaning Pulau Gaya to another location. And that will bring a mechanism by which we can bring real tangible value from all of our plastic waste. So with that said, I'd just like to play the final video from Vaus, just 2 minutes, and then I'll sum up the next few steps, what we're looking to do, and then we can throw it out to everyone for questions. Thank you, Ken.
So this will be the last video.
So this is the last video is VOW, V-O-W, the VOW video.
The VOW story, yeah?
Please, yes.
Endless volume of waste that pollute our environment. Global warming out of control. These are two of the biggest challenges that face the world, and the reason for WOW.
We are turning waste into CO2 neutral energy and raw materials that help industries decarbonize. We are finding ways to recycle carbon and remove carbon from the atmosphere. In short, we are fighting climate change and at the same time bringing end to waste.
WOW started its journey at sea, and together with cruise operators, we have developed solutions for cleaner oceans.
Long gone are the days when wastewater and garbage were discharged to sea. Together with cruise companies, we are building a sustainable future for this global industry.
With WOW solutions inside, cruise ships today are operating according to the highest discharge standards at sea. And we are now also standing firmly on land.
Our technology is increasingly attractive and relevant for land-based industries. We are delivering systems that replaces fossil fuel in energy production and fossil carbon in a wide range of industrial processes. We are working with leading energy companies, metallurgical industry, utilities, and others to reduce their carbon footprint and develop new business models within the circular economy.
So why are they turning to WOW for help?
Because we master technology and have a unique delivery model which allow us to deliver complex solutions on an industrial scale. We have done that for more than 20 years. We are doing it every day, but we have only just started. We are unstoppable.
WOW, decarbonizing industries.
So thank you, Ken. So very exciting. You've got a leading partner from Europe who are looking to bring their technology to Asia, and this will be the global showcase starting in Kota Kinabalu and Sabah, and kickstarting Sabah plastic neutral, but Coral Triangle plastic neutral. And I think the thing to highlight to everyone is that plastic, the single-use nature meant it didn't have value. So you have hundreds, thousands, millions of kids walking past plastic every day because it has no value to them. But now we're about to change that. We're about to start a new plastic decade where plastic, which is really just oil wrapped up in a different configuration, has value. So this plastic bottle, you go to any supermarket. I've got a plastic bottle here. I don't know if you can see it, a good old Evian bottle. But the point is that now has value. So what we're about to do is flip it over and bring that plastic, but make the reality that it actually has value. So kickstart a plastic value chain. So we're doing a plastic roadmap, plastic value roadmap now for Sabah. And once we release that in a couple of weeks' time, then we can sit down with partners, sit down with investors and say, okay, how are we going to roll out Sabah plastic neutral and lead the charge across the UNESCO Ocean Decade? So it's a really exciting movement. And I think the point I'd like to say in summary is that really it's all about value, and what we need to do is kickstart alternative livelihoods. So Sabah's value, we need to essentially shake up the value, kickstart community of alternative livelihood programs, localized circular economies, And the world needs to go from a linear economy to a circular economy, and plastic now has value. So what we're looking to do is kickstart Saba Plastic Neutral with a Norwegian technology, and then turn the cameras on and film this, and obviously showcase all the cleanups that we're doing. And the big producers, the Coca-Colas, the Nestle's, and the Unilevers will support. And in fact, there's a great new organization just started in Malaysia called MAREA, the Malaysian Recycling Association. And all around the world, governments are realizing that one of the reasons why plastics are so cheap is because in that business model, they haven't had to pay for the disposal of that plastic. Well, that's got to change. So the great thing is that there's a new program called the EPR, the Extended Producer Responsibility Program, which means these companies have to put money back in to the system, the cycle. So we talked to them about supporting Saba Plastic Neutral. We've got about 4 million people in Saba. So at the same time as deploying fish bombs across the whole of Saba and saying, no, you cannot fish bomb anymore, but guess what? You can go and collect plastic. We think there's about 20 to 30 tons of plastic arriving every single day on every incoming tide. And so the point is that's 20 to 30,000 kilos of plastic every single day. Now, if that 1 kilo of washed plastic, 1 or 2 ringgit, that's a huge workforce. So no, we don't have tourism, but we've got an opportunity over the next 1 or 2 years now to create a great big cleanup, a recovery process for Saba with the world watching, and to dovetail that with fish bomb free Saba and lead the charge across UNESCO Ocean Decade. So it's all about collaboration and partnerships. And I was just reading recently about the UAE have just committed $10 billion worth into Indonesia to protect Indonesia and capacity build. This is what we need to be doing here in Saba. We've got the coalition, we've got the Saba government behind us. The world will support Saba because we have the value. And what we need to do is we need to bring some of that funding into the communities and the marginalized communities that are living amongst that biodiversity. The trouble is right now, that biodiversity is food. And so until we actually find a mechanism where keeping that biodiversity alive rather than dead as food or shark fin or turtles, unfortunately, we're going to lose the rest of the biodiversity. So we have to create this kind of equalizer effect. And we've got a really exciting journey ahead leading the charge. And UNESCO Ocean Decade is the backdrop. SDG 17 is all about collaboration. So it's all about collaboration between Saba and Indonesia and different countries, organizations like Borneo Forum and Borneo Institute working together, saying to the rest of the world, we need to protect and support Saba and Borneo. Collectively, Borneo is the most important, the biggest landmass in the Coral Triangle. And that is why people need to start putting a spotlight and investing into Saba and supporting Saba. So it's all about investment. And obviously right now, because of COVID, we've got a real challenge ahead of us, but we're partnering up with some great people, Immunity, who are working with the Malaysian government, MOTAC, doing the first travel bubble in Langkawi, looking to work with Saba Tourism and kickstart a travel bubble, the first ever travel bubble that's going to work and get nature-loving, appreciating tourists coming back from Singapore and Japan who actually want to put money to Saba and really go for quality rather than quantity. So not mass tourism. The big problem before was that we were selling Saba, in one breath we were saying it's the best place to come and see wildlife, and the next breath was the best place to come and eat it as live seafood, and that's a big problem. That's a conflict. So essentially what we're looking to do is to rebrand Saba and create a kind of a blue-green Bhutan. But the most important thing is embracing the needs of the communities living amongst that biodiversity. So the undocumented is a big problem. You've got 1 million people in Saba who right now, it's hard getting them vaccinated. They don't have healthcare. They wake up in the morning, they got 7 mouths to feed. And of course, they have to resort to fish bombing. As Terence said, we're not interested in putting their fathers and kids in jail because they just propagate the system. What we've got to do is embrace their needs, vaccinate them and protect them and give them alternative livelihoods. And then we can have a serious conversation with them about actually stopping consumption of that biodiversity. So biodiversity is really what Sabah is all about. And yeah, that's really the message I like to convey. For me, I'm very OCD, if you like, about showcasing biodiversity and the value of biodiversity and bringing that and making that real and tangible for the community. So moving forwards, incredibly exciting time. Let's do it. The values in the environment, protecting the environment, nature solutions, and all collaborating together. We can do it together, but we all have to work together. It's got to be inclusive and not exclusive. And Sabah has an amazing opportunity moving forwards. Ken, that's all I would like to say now. We've got about 40, 50 minutes. So thank you very much, Borneo Forum. Back to you. Let's get some feedback and work out how we're going to do it together.
All I can say is wow, wow, wow.
Thank you,
we are
Simon.
breaking our record now and over 3 hours. I appreciate you staying back.
Thank you, Simon.
And it's question and answer now, and then we'll hear briefly from our newly installed executive director for Borneo Forum. Borneo Forum is going to be a life on its own, and it's going to be Eve Charlie. You want to say it now, Eve, or are you going to say it later after the question and answer?
Maybe question and answer first. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. You can help simulate the question and answers, but please, everyone, unmute yourself to ask question or post in the chat forum. Silakan bertanya. Walaupun tidak boleh berbahasa Inggris, silakan. Boleh juga saya akan translate, terjemahkan. Kalau itu adalah satu masalah, silakan bertanya kepada Simon atau Terence, atau kepada saya dan panel kita hari ini. So please, we are talking about the most important thing in our time in Sabah, in Borneo and all the world, and this is just a golden opportunity for us to participate, and we are so grateful for people like Simon who are able to simulate this on our behalf in Sabah. Please ask questions, raise your hand or post in the chat or unmute yourself. Raising hand means I will then unmute yourself. Unmute you. Silakan.
Simon, maybe from me to start the ball rolling. My name is Alan. I'm one of the VPs. Yeah. You mentioned about biodiversity just now, Simon, and you have been going around the world and with all the kind of activities, experience and knowledge. Why do you think biodiversity is so important to Sabah or Borneo for that matter? And how can it benefit this island as well as to the global community?
Sure. Thanks, Alan. That's a great question. Biodiversity, to sum it up, is life itself. So biodiversity is the air we breathe and the water we drink. So it's a confluence, it's all of the species together, working together in sync. So although we've lost the rhino, we're losing some species, Sabah and Borneo has more biodiversity than any other location as part of the Coral Triangle. So when you try and explain biodiversity, the best analogy I can give is biodiversity is like the flight of an aeroplane. So an aeroplane is made up of about 2 or 3 million rivets, okay? And if those are little rivets that hold the plane together. So if you compare a rivet with a species, there are millions of species on the planet. The scientists reckon we're losing between 100 to 200 rivet species every single day. So if you get on that plane from Kota Kinabalu to Kuala Lumpur, and you're losing, let's say, every hour, every minute, you're losing 10,000 rivets. At some point, the plane's going to start wobbling. The wings will start shaking, and we're starting to compromise the life and the flight of that plane and everyone on it. So what we're doing now every time we lose biodiversity, every time we lose a species, every time an elephant is shot or a shark is killed, we're taking a little bite out of Sabah's future. Now, if you throw a fish bomb, it's a much bigger bite. So essentially, you throw a fish bomb. We haven't done the studies yet. One of the studies we need to do, Terence and I need to get a commission. We need to speak to people and get the cost of one fish bomb, because fish bombs are going off, and we can ask him a bit later how many fish bombs are going off. But every single fish bomb that goes off, it's probably cost 5-10 million ringgit to Sabah's future. So essentially, as you lose biodiversity, the flight of that airplane or life gets more tense. Now, underwater, the point is that we're fishing the world by satellite now, and some of the creatures in the sea actually create the oxygen we breathe. So we're actually playing with fire, because the more that we hoover up the oceans in our quest for food, we're actually destroying that whole life cycle underwater. So the point is, we're threatening biodiversity by removing by all the species, and so get to a stage where if one of those rivets, one of those species is a nitrogen fixing bacteria in the ocean, which creates the oxygen we breathe, you've got a huge problem. And so that one rivet, there's one rivet. If you lose that one rivet, that plane will crash. And so that's the best analogy I can use in terms of biodiversity and rivets. But coming back to Sabah, we've got more biodiversity here than anywhere else, and that's value. What we've got to do is we've got to project a new future for Sabah where we protect that biodiversity, and we make that value, that environment, that biodiversity worth more to everyone alive than dead. Until we do that, we're going to have a really big problem, because that biodiversity is food, particularly because of COVID now. People are losing their jobs, they don't know how to feed their kids, and so that biodiversity, we've been trying to set up ecotourism and bring tourists to come and see. All of a sudden becomes food. So it goes back to that food security issue that Terence was talking about. So hopefully that answers the question. But Sabah has more biodiversity, and the greater Sabah, as in Borneo, is the most biodiverse piece of land on the planet. So that's the projection moving forward. We've got to ring fence and protect all of our biodiversity, and we've got to protect the communities living amongst that biodiversity.
Okay, Simon, just there's a question here regarding biodiversity. Say, how does biodiversity have impact on the tourism industry in Sabah?
Well, in terms of ecotourism, that is what people come to see. But when I first arrived in Sabah in 96, 97, people were paying $200, $300, $400 to dive on Sipadan, and no one had heard of a pangolin or Borneo pygmy elephant. But now you can go diving on Sipadan for $70, $80, and you know, you have Chinese tourists previously, before the pandemic, were ordering were getting married and ordering a pangolin online and eating it as soon as they arrived in Sabah. Now so pangolins are now the most traded animal on the planet. Now pangolins, elephants, all these creatures, they have a place in that food chain. They're part of that biodiversity. So you lose that biodiversity. So in terms of the kind of the new Sabah moving forward, you know, what I propose and what our team, Monica and Terence, are proposing is a new Sabah where we go back to the quality rather than quantity. We're selling that high level of tourism, people who come back and they really value it. So it's all about value now. We've got to say every single day we protect Sabah, it gives more value, gives it more marketability, and people come back and want to really support Sabah. Hope that answers questions.
Oh, thank you, Simon. I love that. The Bhutan of Sabah, Sarawak, Borneo, amazing. Boyd, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. It's hopefully this is a short one, but it's related to the biodiversity that we're talking about. But I'm looking at it from a different angle, i.e., if you use biodiversity from the point of view of climate change, it's critical. Without the biodiversity that Sabah has, and it's one of the oldest in the world, by the way, we will lose it altogether, and then we will not have the landscape, the wilderness, and actually a whole set of industries, including tourism that we talked about, if we lose our biodiversity. So the way to do it from the point of view of climate, which Dr. Jeffrey mentioned earlier, is how do we plan for a future where we use biodiversity to protect and look after Sabah and Borneo from that point of view. So we need a blueprint, a very
Okay, you're frozen, Boyd. Okay, Boyd has a connection issue. Boyd.
So I think Mutu had some good point earlier, and perhaps Mutu, can you come back on that and ask those questions? Or I know that I've stated that we will pass some of these comments that you made to the minister, but maybe we need to do some more than that. So perhaps your sharing will be pretty important in this case. Thank you. Thank you, Ken.
Okay, SM Mutu, I think just to connect with Boyd, I'm reading your comments as well. Go ahead.
I've already, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I've already written 2 comments because I've been in Sabah for 52 plus years. It was such a beautiful place. I fell in love and I couldn't get out. Even if I go to KL for business or meetings, I died to come back. That was Sabah, What has happened? Sabah is no more land below the wind. We all know, and we all know why. We keep cutting forests, and we call ourselves talk about environment. All these politicians. In my comment originally, I put the word bullshit, but I withdrew it because politicians are nothing but bullshit. They talk one thing and do another thing. Since we have Dr. Jeff here now on board, and he has some friends here, hopefully can knock some sense into him to do something, really do something, stop talking. The blueprint must have a time of action time. Okay, when do we do this? When do we do that? I also mentioned there, I've listened to Simon. I'm fascinated by his plans. I'm so glad there's somebody who loves Sabah so much. Even now he has Sabah connection. Now, but we have to do something. Otherwise, we'll be talking and enjoying all the Zoom meetings. And that's it. Can we take one small project, fund it, give government must support it fully, not just funding, support it and cooperate with the people running the project, and then things go on because nothing moves in Sabah without political support. Civil servants are not independent. They're all subservient to the politicians. If they know that certain politician will not like their project, they won't do it. Now, let's accept the truth. Let's not talk things which the politicians like to hear. Let's do things which will bring about change in Sabah. If you have to dump the politician, dump him. I mean, we're not in politics, but anyway, the truth must be said. Why is Sabah no more land below the wind? Go to the root source of the problem. The forests are disappearing. As to the seas were so clean when I came. But now you have invited guests from other countries to come and start villages on the waterfront. I'm not talking about illegals or legals, and the sea is the dumping ground for them. Who created this problem? I can give you a lot of example about how plastic reaches the sea. I've seen myself, I've talked to the people, they don't bother. They look at me like I'm crazy. Who are you? They ask me. Even those cutting the grass, the plastic guts used for the cutter, they just pick it and throw it. And you go to the grass land and you see full of those plastic. And I've even told one of the directors of DBKK, you have to stop this. Otherwise, all our green grass will be full of those plastic guts. I mean, you have to start somewhere. But everybody just wants to keep the boat moving without making sure that the radar is in the right direction. All they want is the monthly salary. That's it. Keep it afloat. So we have to change. I'm so happy that this Zoom meeting, thank Borneo Forum for having this meeting, but something must come out of this meeting. So can you give a action time frame? When will we start? When will we do something? Then it's great. So yes. Dr. Jeff, since he has promised to do something and it's in the agriculture field, we can even start with the agriculture department, that agriculture is sustainable agriculture, at least to a certain extent. You can't go 100% straight away. The farmers will die slowly, but definitely it can be done.
Thank you very much, SMO too. That's
anyway,
very.
Yeah, anyway, I've written there, so
yeah.
I can't remember everything. Thank you. Anytime I have volunteered to be a speaker and talk, I can give talks to villagers. I can speak Malay. I can speak Kampong Malay, English, and that's my specialty. I've been trying to do something. I've changed a few people, maybe not too many. Thanks. That's my contribution in future.
Okay, just leave your phone and your email in the chat so that we all can get in touch with you. Please do that. We have another question from Samantha. Samantha, go ahead, unmute yourself.
Hiya. This is, I suppose, kind of directed to anyone, but I sort of was going to ask Simon.
Yeah. Samantha, sorry, can we see you, if you don't mind?
Sorry, my camera, I think it's affecting my, like it keeps like going off. It's my connection's not very good.
No worries.
Sorry.
We can hear you. Okay, go for it. We can hear you. Thanks.
Okay. So I was just wondering what your perspective is on oil palm expansion and its impact on the environment in Borneo. And I was wondering if this has been an issue that you've focused on and if you think it should be a key focus for environmental conservation in Borneo. Thank you.
Thanks, Samantha. You're throwing me into the lion's den with that question. I mean,
sorry.
I mean, at the end of the day, the tricky thing is that it's employs thousands, tens of thousands of people. So it's a huge earner for Malaysia, for the region, for Indonesia. So to try and take that on as a whole challenge is really hard. What we need to do now is we need to showcase to the Sabah government the worth of alternatives. So the government is now looking at the ITP, which is the industrial tree plantation, which is basically 400,000 hectares of key landscape to maximize the value. Now that by setting up that mechanism, that will protect the rest of the forest. So what we need to do is we need to get the roadmap of Sabah out and say, what is the best way to manage our blue and our green landscapes? And it's the blue economy and the green economy together. So I mean, it's a hard one to tackle, but what we need to do, we need to look at options. We've got the next 10 years, we've got the next 20 years. We have to look at it in a commercial. We have to say, where are we at now? What's the most sensible use of our land, and how can we transition to something that's more sustainable? There is no doubt that oil palm is not sustainable, but the thing is, it's paying for so much. It's driving the economy, the world economy. We all use it, just about everyone on the Zoom call. You look at the amount of oil palm products we have on our houses. It's very hard, but what we need to do is we need to ring fence Sabah and say, actually, folks, we're going to put the brakes on. And one of the things that COVID has done, we're forced, is to actually put the brakes on it and actually say, we're going to change. And so that's one of the reasons we're trying to kickstart Sabah plastic neutral and show the value, the alternative value. So we need to start regrowing. We need to showcase what Sabah's doing and slowly but surely put the brakes on the expansion of oil palm and say, here are the alternatives, because we've got to change. You hear from Sir David, whatever we're doing, what we have been doing over the last centuries, it's just not working. And the planet is literally going down under our watch. We have to change the way we're going to do things, and we have to lead it from the chart from Sabah. We can do it. Yes, Mutu, I hear you. It's very scary.
I agree with you totally.
Very sad, but nature can recover. It's so resilient, but we have to move as one. It has to be Sabah, green and blue together. And I think that would be the way my approach, Samantha, would be saying, look, we're going to start from Sabah. We're going to put the brakes on. We're not going to expand. We're just going to withdraw and show value from a new, more sustainable way of managing our resources that is inclusive for everyone. That would be my answer.
Yeah, thank you so much for answering my question and for all your talks as well.
Okay,
thanks.
Thank you.
I think we do not have any more. It's one more hands up. I think that's actually Is there anyone else? Is anyone else wish to ask? Reading.
Ken, there's one here.
Yeah.
Question from Rosalie on the chat line. What are your, Simon, what are your thoughts of islands destination reclaiming their shores for massive tourism development? How do you find a balance between conservation of the island, biodiversity versus economic activity? I guess he's probably referring to Sepadan, maybe. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Rosalie. Another real tough question. I mean, the reality, the commercial advantages, basically, reclaiming land. You look at Sudra Harbour. That was when I came to Sabah. That was the biggest land moving project in Southeast Asia. The reality is it's more cost effective to do that because that's the way the government has set it up. So, at the end of the day, we've got to, you look at Pulau Gaya and Tongkol Ab Marine Park is such an incredible location, and people don't appreciate that value. You've got a national park 10 minutes outside the capital city, is visited by the biggest fish in the sea, the whale shark, 3 or 4 months of the year. It has black-tip reef sharks, it has turtles, all endangered animals. It has proboscis monkeys, and it has hornbills. 10 minutes from Kota Kinabalu, 10 minutes from Hong Kong Bank. You come up from a dive and you've got Mount Kinabalu, 10, 15 minutes maybe, and you've got value. There's no other capital city on the planet that has that biodiversity. You can then go on a plane and go and see pygmy elephants and orangutans. That's why Sabah is so special. That's why we've got this opportunity. So, I mean, I think just a bit like the oil palm, there's no doubt on my mind. We heard Silvia talking about Timor-Leste in terms of the resources, oil and gas, it being the natural biodiversity, their blue whales and their dugongs being worth more than the oil and gas. We've got to put the brakes on and say, look, this is the most important thing. Every single day we protect our biodiversity. It has much deeper value to Sabah's future and the children and their children than just oil and gas and oil palm and great big resorts. We've got to put the brakes on. So if you look at all the land, you've got so much farming communities. You've got so many people are struggling right now because they've got no opportunity. Now, we've got 2 options with that land. Either we sell it to big Chinese investors and build great big new cities and things and new technologies, or in fact, we say, no, we're going to create, Sabah's going to become the environmental packaging center of the world, and we're going to grow the alternative to plastic packaging. And we seed fund these communities to grow tapioca and rice and become the environmental packaging on the world. You don't have to train them to do anything else, but that is the opportunity from Sabah, is actually using the skill set and the knowledge and that culture as well as the biodiversity. And that for me would be a much better use of that land, because that will be the environmental movement that the world needs to. We have no choice but to change the way people consume and rethink the way we use plastic. So it's all about alternatives, but we as stakeholders together, about 4 million people in Sabah, have the choice. If we need to say to the government, sorry, we've got to do this, we've got to rethink, we've really got this opportunity now to rebrand Sabah and move forward with and lead the way. And we can do that, but we have to do it all together.
Okay, thank you very much, Simon. I am mindful it's 16 plus 10 o'clock, 10 in the morning here in the UK. So we've been talking for 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10, almost 4.5 hours now. So it's amazing. So if there's any more questions, then I'll pass on.
There's one more.
Okay, go ahead.
Ken, there's one more. It is for Terence, by the way, Terence. It says here, there's 2 questions. How many fish bombs are detected by you and your team every day? And has the frequency of fish bomb detected increased since or throughout the COVID period? And how can people help? Thanks. That was it.
Well, the answer is yes to the COVID situation. The pandemic has definitely drive the number of fish bomb detection up. The numbers that we are averaging getting, and I'm only referring to small areas, not the whole of Sabah, a small area in Sampona. We're averaging between 4 to 5 blasts a day that we are detecting. If we multiply that with all the other locations around Sabah, you probably will be looking at by the hundreds of blasts in a day. And I'm not talking about Kudat. Kudat is another hot spot. I have friends that are operating in Kudat. They are also telling me that they are hearing blasts almost every day. There are people that the yachties, people living on the yachts. They actually can hear the blast through the hull of the yacht. So they are also reporting they're hearing them almost daily in around Kudat, and especially around Blambangan and Bangi area. So yeah, the numbers of blasts are averaging in our detection area about 4 to 5 a day. It could be much more than that if we look at the whole of Sabah. What can we do? That's a very good question. As I said early on, there has been a lot of awareness program that has gone out. WWF, Reef Check, Reef Guardian, and all the rest. They've done fantastic work over the years. They have tried very hard to change the mindset of the people. They have tried very hard to get them to change the way of fishing. But sadly, at the end of the day, you need to put food on the table. You need to feed your children. With the stress in the social economy, people are finding it very difficult and more challenging to feed the family. Fisherman needs to travel further to fish. Off the coast, there's literally nothing to catch. You have to go out further. As you go out further, you need more fuel. You need more space to store your ice to keep your catch fresh. So they need to sacrifice something. So one of the things they sacrifice is instead of fishing legally, they do it illegally, which is using a fish bomb. Most of the time when the fish bomber goes out fishing, they don't bring the fish back. They actually use the fish bomb cage to catch bait to fish. So one of the things they sacrifice they get a fish bomb, which is cost about 20, 30 ringgit a piece. Instead of buying bait, they use it to buy bomb, and then they go out and blast an area, and they'll pick up the fish, and they use that fish as bait for fishing. So it's the whole economy, the whole social economy of a fish bomber is not as straightforward. It's actually very complex. You have to look at where they are, who they are, which location they are, and so on. So how we could help, what we could do, I think is I'm using technology. Of course, I'm going to promote what I'm doing. But as I said before, my part of the technology where we have sensors in the water is only listening in. And we're only a technology or information provider. We are not out, we can't catch them. We are not there to catch them. We only provide the information to the relevant authorities for their action. But at the same time, also, we need community champions, people that are here in this forum that can take up the challenge and help to elevate the livelihood of these people. I know one thing for a fact, that if you give the fish bomber an option to change their way of living, they'll take it. Fish bombing is dangerous. It's extremely risky. I have seen fish bomber go out fishing, and I'm literally like on their side when they do it. It's actually a very, very dangerous exercise. So if they were given an alternative opportunity to change, they will. It's just that they don't have that opportunity, and they are in that situation of their life or where they are. They are out on the island. They are born as a fisherman. They are out on the island. They are in an area where they are struggling to survive, and this is the easiest option is the fish bomb. So if we can work together, we can find an alternative source for them. through the Ministry of Agriculture, alternative fishing, fish cage method, and so on. But the other thing, as I mentioned earlier on about the women, empowering the women, is also going down to ask the fishermen, the community, what they want to do, instead of us telling them what they need to be doing. One of the few failures of so-called Project Bantuan Rakyat is going down to tell the Rakyat what they need to do instead of asking them what they want to do. For giving out boats, giving out engines to the fishermen, maybe that's not what they want. Maybe they want to access an area more freely so they can fish, or maybe they want something else. It's not an engine or a boat. So when we go out to talk to the people, the community, we need to ask them what they want, not make a decision or make a presumption that this is what they want. So to work it out, I need to be a big holistic approach to a lot of work need to be done, and each community or each kampong might need different things. Not everybody needs a boat. Not everybody needs an engine. Not everybody wants to seaweed farm. Not everybody wants to what we call this, a rare fish in a cage. So it's all need to be very tailor-made to even down to the individual. If assistance are coming down to the community. Hopefully that answers the question.
Okay, yes, that's such an important statement, Terence, and we are all really thank you for all your efforts, and we're going to take action. But we are closing to 4 hours now, and I'll invite Eve Charlie. She's going to be the newly promoted to executive director position that will lead Borneo Forum going forward, because I'm primarily based in London, UK. After all the pandemics restriction, I will be able to fly there. But in the meantime, Eve is in Kuala Lumpur. Alan and Richard are all in New Zealand and the USA. And Eve will be driving forward the Borneo Forum. Go ahead, Eve. Unmute yourself.
Yeah. Thank you, Ken, and hi everyone. It's been such an honor to lead Borneo Forum from now on. And even though it won't be a drastic changes, it will be gradually until we finish the whole lap of this year and to start a new one for next year. All these changes will be started to be implemented slowly. And as when we started in December last year, Borneo Forum just started from 4 of us, which is Ken, me, Alan in New Zealand, and also Richard in US. And now, over 8 months, we have growing numbers in our members, and all the members now they are experts in few a few fields, and we are still in need of few fields to fit in what we want to do in terms of our future topics and where we are going to drive Borneo Forum to be the platform of the awareness and empowerment of a new generation of ideas for the economy, culture, and sustainable development for Sabah and Borneo into a strong and sustainable state. And what we hope also that Borneo Forum will be the focal point to bring back our local talents around the globe to help Sabah and also to help Borneo as the third largest, biggest island in the world. We have so much to offer here. And I do believe that with this platform, the Borneo Forum, it become like the awareness and empowerment platform, like what I mentioned earlier. And in terms of content structure, after this, we are going to have bilateral content, which not only from the local content, but there will be also from international content where we learn all the best practices. And these best practices to try to adapt to Sabah development and to bring in new ideas. And what I have mentioned earlier this year, that pandemic is a blessing for us. The world has been, is moving into a new dimension. So I think when we have started this Borneo Forum to be a platform, not just for talking, but slowly we are moving into action. So thank you everyone for coming. And I do hope you to come and join us every Saturday of the month, 2:30 Malaysia time, 2:30 in the afternoon Malaysia time, where after this we try to structure the content and to bring a new ideas for all of you, and keep supporting this movement, as it's going to be an organization, a non-profit organization. And from our future forum, I will slowly introduce you all our working teams together, and we inviting more and more talents to come into this platform. And thank you again, and I give back to Ken.
Thank you, Eve. Thank you very much indeed. This is such a pleasure to almost like hand over to you. Just to give you an idea, this is my battered notes, which says Borneo Projects, leather-bound. This was started in 2011. My notes on what Borneo Forum and the projects and all that. People can't see it. It's a very battered piece book. And now we are here, 2011, now 2021, 10 years later, we are on it. So it took the COVID to kick us back to get it started. Thank you very much, Eve. And to sum it all, thank you very much, Simon. It's been such a pleasure. We are so honored. We are so grateful. We are so indebted to your effort. Terence, thank you very much for what you're doing. Boyd, thank you for your contribution. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for your interest. And for those 36 of us here staying, that's half of the original number. We have a lot more engagement in Facebook groups. We have several Facebook. They are there, page and Facebook groups. I didn't put it on YouTube, but I do apologize for the hiccups here and there, but that's part of life. We are learning. And thank you so much indeed again. And we'll see you on the last Saturday of September, where we're talking about Borneo cuisine, food, and how is that going to be significant for us in Borneo, and what's the opportunities there. There's always a team of conservation, protection, and also the team of the use of enterprise, the use of business as a tool to serve this good intentions. So that is the team of Sabah Borneo, Sabah Organization, and Borneo Forum. So if there's anyone else, anything else, Simon, will
one more thing.
Bring to a close.
You're good? Thing. Yeah, I think we're gonna have a group photo in a minute. I just want to say a final word. I mean, I think obviously everyone on this chat is kind of on the same page. I think there's no doubt that the time is now. We've got the opportunity. Part of the inspiration behind Blue Hope was taking the words of Sir David, age 95, and the words of Sylvia Earle, her Royal Deepness, age 85, and passing that to the younger generations. Youth is such a key thing. So we're looking to kickstart Blue Hope Youth and pass the baton to them and listen to them and listen to everyone. And we really need to drive them, because they'll be the future. They're the ones where we're passing this critical planet into their hands. And so that's a really important beat. And I think, the time it can be very depressing, but nature is very resilient. People are very resilient. Sabahans are very resilient. We can do this. There are decades when sort of nothing happens. And then, I think I genuinely believe we can kickstart this movement and we can do in months what hasn't happened for decades. So in months, we can do what not happened decades here. And so it's really this next few months. And I think taking Dr. Jeffrey's words, this opportunity for Sabah to lead the charge with Terence's great work and kickstart fish bomb free Sabah leading the charge. This is an amazing opportunity. The time is now. So I think it's very exciting. We got 10 years of Ocean Decade, and we can do this together. So we'll be in touch soon once we get our order from our brief from Val, and we kickstart our education awareness campaign. Hopefully everyone can support this, and we can do this together. Thank you so much, Borneo Forum. Shall we have a thank you so much, Ken, for moderating. I know it's been challenging. Thank you, Eve and Richard and Alan, for the opportunity. Let's have a group photo, shall we? If everyone could turn on their photo, turn on their cameras, and let's get a photo for the records.
Please do, please do, please do.
And thanks, Terence. Love your work as always. Thanks so much.
No worries. Yeah, you're welcome.
Excellent. Please,
we have our friends from Philippines, from Brunei here. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you so much. Everyone turn their cameras on if possible.
Yes. Everyone, switch on your camera, switch on your camera.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Wow. Okay. Yes. Again, to find us.
Do a thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up. Okay. And again, for everyone, if you want to find us in facebook.com/Borneo Forum. That's our page. Facebook.com/Borneo Forum. We have a group, which is actually facebook.com/group/Borneo Organization with an S, organization. And then YouTube is youtube.com/Borneo Forum. And those are the three social media platform we have. We have others as well. We have LinkedIn and all that, but Facebook is the easiest. Our website is coming up, and that will be launched soon. But thank you again. Thank you very much indeed, and have a great rest of the Saturday. And I'll see you next month, last Saturday of the month. We are talking about Borneo cuisine, Borneo food, and it's going to be led by Richard Punai. Richard, can you say a brief 30-second, 60-second? Richard, are you still here? Promote event, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Oh, yes. Yes. I just want to say thank you for everyone for coming. And Ken, Simon, and Terence, you guys did a wonderful job. This really opened my eyes. Very seldom I look at the ocean, but now I'm very self-conscious what we have to do. We have to stop fish bombing. We have to stop plastic waste. And we start doing something about preserving our beautiful land for our future and our future generations. And see you next month for the title would be Borneo Food and Beverage Industry, the potential, the opportunities and challenges.
That sounds yummy.
Right.
Thank you very much, Richard. And then a quick word from Alan. A quick word, Alan, just a short one.
Hi, everyone. Again, thank you very much for Simon, Terence, and of course, Ken, our CEO. The presentation is so impressive. We need to learn more about our ocean. I just texted our friend from Philippines. I said we are sharing the sea between Borneo and Philippines, and of course there's one master student from Indonesia. She was very impressed with our forum. So hopefully in the near future we can work together, collaborate, and I think there are a few ideas there, interesting ideas that we can immediately plan for. I think I'm for environment. This makes me to decide. Actually, BSI asked me to invited me yesterday for the lead auditor course for the ISO 14001. I've taken it before, but that was the old version. So now I've decided to go for it next month to upgrade myself to the new standard, because
Well done.
that's the future.
Right.
Yeah.
Well done.
Good
And
news.
New Zealand is very strong in environmental management. They are really doing drastic actions. So including the commercial fishing. In New Zealand, they have what they call it like fish observer. They just recruited quite a number of fish observers. So they go to the ship, the commercial fishing, to inspect what are the catches that they caught. So they're very strong. But as Simon said, I think the biodiversity in Sabah is mind-boggling. New Zealand has less number of species. I think the fish that we have are colorful in Borneo. Yeah, I think that's all. Thank you very much
indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, everyone. And thank you. I think we have a participant all the way from Swansea. Samantha, I notice you. I'm based in London. Let's talk. I'm in London, you're in Swansea. Come to London and visit me. Let's have some nasi lemak. Thank you again, everyone. Thank you indeed. Thank you very much, Simon. Thank you again. Take care and have a great weekend.
Bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Be safe, everyone. Bye-bye. Good luck. Bye.